you feel like you win this sparring because you did what your coach asked you, and in the fight, of course, it's different.
It was a great fight. At the end of the day, the people in boxing won, and it's a great fight, and we get to see it again. And then after that, hopefully I get the winner.
Because I have some issues, I want to heal myself and then move forward again. Doesn't matter, trilogy, Benavidez, Canela, or as always, I'm just waiting offer.
You feel like you won this sparring because you followed your coach's instructions. Of course, the fight was different, but it was still a great fight ultimately, and we get to watch it again. Afterward, I hope to win because I have some issues, and I want to heal myself before moving on. The Trilogy I or Benavidez Canela as usual, I'm only awaiting an offer. Dmitry Bivol has been criticized by Benavidez, who has stated his desire for a confrontation. Additionally, fans can now view leaked sparring film that shows their previous training sessions. Professional boxers usually use private sparring sessions to practice their skills away from the public eye, but occasionally smuggled video and conversations have emerged to give fans an inside look at these behind-the-scenes interactions. One such example is a sparring session between Benavidez and Dmitry Bivol, in which Benavidez, then 17 years old, engaged Bivol in a fierce sparring bout. The specifics of the session are kept confidential. According to some accounts, Benavidez outperformed the more seasoned Bivol. It's crucial to remember that sparring sessions are meant for experimentation and practice, and the dynamics might be very different from those of professional fights. Discussions over the morality of disclosing sparring sessions have been triggered by the distribution of such film among the boxing community. Despite the arguments, many contend that publicizing these private training moments can distort a fighter's skills or tactics because sparring is intended for growth rather than public assessment. Fans are still intrigued by these peeks into sparring sessions, which offer special insights into top boxers' training routines. In response to the leaked sparring video of Benavidez, Dmitry Bivol shared his thoughts on their previous training sessions. Reflecting on their sparring sessions, BBV recognized Bennett as a great fighter and expressed appreciation for his abilities and ambition.
Respect him as a fighter. He's a really great fighter, and what he's saying that he wants to fight me and better be if it means that he's a great fighter. He's confident and he wanna achieve more and more. It's good, and what I could tell.
Do you remember the sparring with David?
I remember, we had a couple of sparrings. I remember it was some of good moments from my side.
He also pointed out that Ben's willingness to push both him and Artur BBV shows his confidence and drive to further his career. Bivol remembered that both fighters demonstrated strong points while practicing various methods under the supervision of their instructor. He's a tremendously good fighter, and for what he's saying, he wants to fight me and do it better. Beefit indicates that he is an excellent fighter, self-assured, and driven to keep improving. From what I could tell, he stressed that sparring is only a training exercise in which fighters try out different tactics rather than striving for complete dominance. And I do remember that we had a few good moments together. He clarified that sparring and a real fight are entirely different situations. In a real fight, Bivol explained, a boxer must make quick adjustments.
Some of good moments from my side, some good moments from his side. But it's sparring. Sparring, it's sparring. You do some things which coach told you. You should do this and this, and you are trying one round. You couldn't do it. Another round, you try to do this. It couldn't. On the third round, you can do it once only, and you feel like you win this sparring because you did what your coach asked you. And in the fight, of course, it's different. In the fight, they ask you to do something. You will not waste your time if it's not good.
And cannot afford to waste time on techniques that are not working, unlike sparring, where fighters focus on specific drills regardless of their effectiveness. A fight demands immediate adaptability, while sparring showcases moments of skill from both sides. Fighters use these sessions to apply their coach's instructions, sometimes succeeding in one round and struggling in another. Bivol thinks that competing professionally against Benavidez will provide a whole other set of difficulties. There have been some positive moments on both minor sides. But you know it's sparring. You do some things that your coach told you to do. And you try one round, but you can't do it again, and you can only do it once. You feel like you won this sparring because you followed your coach's instructions. And naturally, the fight is different. They ask you to do something, and you won't waste your time if it's not good after his hard-fought victory over Bivol. In a post-fight interview, Dmitry Bivol answered a number of questions about his future.
Benavidez, possibly instead of a trilogy with Arta.
I'm open for any fight, but today I wanna enjoy that I'm undisputed champion. I wanna take care of my health because I have some issues. I wanna heal myself and then move forward again. Doesn't matter, trilogy, Benavidez, Canelo, or as always, I'm just waiting offer. And I'm saying yes.
He is currently the undisputed light heavyweight champion and took some time to consider his accomplishment, stressing the value of savoring this milestone before deciding on his next course of action. When asked specifically about Benavidez, Bivol reiterated that he has no preference for his next opponent and that he is willing to take on whoever the boxing world and its fans demand. He made it clear that his focus is on continuing to challenge himself, whether that means facing Benavidez, revisiting his rivalry with PBV, or even considering a move up to cruiserweight. He acknowledged that he had some physical issues to recover from before returning to the ring, but he remained open to any challenge, whether it be a trilogy with Benavidez, a fight against David Benavidez, or even about a fight against Canelo Alvarez.
Dmitry, how do you feel about your next opponent?
I think the December it will be just amazing. Maybe earlier, maybe October. Why not?
You have a preference, David or trilogy?
I don't have any preference now, to be honest. What people wanna see, I gonna take, no problem.
Ben might be using ARA in place of trilogy. You know that I'm up for any battle. But today I want to enjoy being the undisputed champion and take care of myself because I have some problems that I want to get over so that I can move on, regardless of the trilogy. Benavidez Canelo Bivol also reflected on his rematch victory against PBV, highlighting the changes he made to secure the victory and demonstrating his ability to control the fight by outmaneuvering the strong beater with his defensive disciplined movement and counterpunch. As usual, I'm just waiting off for an on. Bev's exact approach made sure he steered clear of drawn-out conversations, while throughout the fight, he lands clean and effective shots. Looking ahead, Bivol is patient and says he is waiting for offers. He also stressed that he is open to all options and will accept a fight that makes the most sense. Whether the new trilogy would improve Bev.
David Benavidez versus Bivol is a way better fight than David Benavidez versus Canelo, only because if he beats Bivol, it proves that he's better than Canelo, is the best Mexican boxer, and is the best at 168 and 175.
Or another significant obstacle, Bivol has solidified his place among the best in boxing and is ready to face any challenge that may arise. Dmitry, what are your thoughts on your upcoming opponent? I think December will be fantastic, but you might prefer earlier or October. To be honest, I have no choice between David and the trilogy. I will accept whatever people want to see. An expert analysis of Bennett's versus Bivol demonstrates why this bout is more important than Bivol versus Canelo. A victory over Bivol would be a turning point in Bennett's career.
I think the purer puncher probably is Morel for one shot. He's the less experienced guy, but he's got that Cuban background, with the amateur pedigree, over 100-something fights. He's got experience. Even though he's got a lot less fights professional, he's got experience. He hasn't fought the resume professionally that Benavidez has, so that's in favor of Benavidez. The experience, always important. But also the pedigree, like I said, where he comes from, Cuba, how, you come from that island that from the beginning when you first put those gloves on, it's all about becoming a world champ.
Advancing him, Bol, who is renowned for his technical proficiency and defensive strength, is a more difficult style opponent than Canelo, who is considered the greatest Mexican boxer this age. In contrast to Canelo, who has already lost to Benavidez, a victory over him would not only make Benitez the best fighter at 168 pounds, but also secure his position as a dominant force at 175 pounds. take on and outperform Canelo's legacy this battle is more significant for the boxing world than a rematch between Bivol and Canelo because it decides the future of the super middleweight and light heavyweight divisions for the sole reason that defeating Bivol would demonstrate a superiority over Canelo. David Benavidez versus Bivol is a far superior bout. At 168 and 175 pounds, Canelo is the best Mexican boxer. Teddy Atlas outlines David Benavidez's upcoming prospects and obstacles.
He says, quote, "I don't want to fight someone who doesn't mean something for my career. And the best out there now is David Morrell."
I see him coming up to 175. He's talking a lot of shit, so I'm going to shut his ass up. And also, it would be a bigger pay-per-view if we wait later. His name is not that big, but, I don't...
They just talk the way you want your fighters to talk. They're all about the smoke. They want to fight everybody. It seems like whoever would win the Morrell-Benavidez fight get the shot. But at the end of the day, we got a guy who wants to fight a tough guy.
David Morrell is so good. David Morrell is a high-risk, low-reward fighter. You have to overpay people to step in the ring with him. If you don't overpay him, you won't get him in the ring. It's as simple as that, Jack. So, David Morrell going in 2024, one of the most exciting fighters, got an exciting style, has a fan base in Minnesota. That's the knock on the Cubans. No international distribution on the Cuban feed because they don't show the fights. Has a fan base in Minnesota. Now we need to see the fights. Vladimir Shishkin, Christian Mbili, any of those guys on the back end of the top 10, I want to see them in with him.
A fight between Benitez and Bivol would not only be about power, it would also be about ring IQ adaptability and the ability to impose ones over 12 rounds. One of the biggest possible opponents is Dmitry Bivol, the WBA light heavyweight champion. Bivol poses a unique challenge and is perhaps tougher than Artur Beterbiev in some ways. He is a disciplined and precise boxer who can neutralize aggression with his movement and counterpunch. The pure puncher, in my opinion.
And collect a big bag on my head after the fight. Like, this is I'm doing David Morrell. You know what I mean? It's the hardest fight, but I'm not scared of nobody. You know what I mean? I like I said, I embrace the challenges. So for Canelo and his fans saying that I don't bring nothing to the table, I don't do this, I don't do that, man, they're all scared. Just like how he's scared. You know what I mean? And if he wants to come prove that I ain't shit, come prove it in front of everybody. It's that easy.
So I feel like it's just a bunch of excuses on his end.
It's just a bunch of excuses, bro. At the end of the day, it's a bunch of excuses and it's a bunch of pride. Because after I beat him,
it's like legacy.
What they don't like is that I'm Mexican, that I'm also Mexican, and I'm here in the United States.